Welcome to MLB Tonight, presented by Evan Williams Bourbon. And an unbelievable scene here for the Detroit Tigers fans as Kerry Carpenter going downtown off Emmanuel Clase, finally breaking a scoreless duel and doing so against who many believe is the best closer in the game. Carpenter saving his best for last as the Tigers emerged victorious in a game they had to have. 3-0 in Game 2, stunning that crowd in Cleveland and sending this series back to what will be a raucous atmosphere at Comerica Park. 4 lefties, by the way, on the hill on Monday. 4 lefties starting in the same day in the postseason back on October 5th of 2018. It's been a while. The reason I mention is I got a bunch of lefties around me here right now here at MLB Tonight. As we welcome you here on set, alongside the All-Star Sean Casey, All-Star Yonder Alonso, and look at our special guest, 3-time All-Star Matt Carpenter. I'm Adnan Virk. It's great to have you with us. Of course, on a day that Kerry Carpenter goes deep, we had to have Matt Carpenter here with us in the studio. Matt, I know you still have a lot more baseball to go, but thanks for joining us, and honestly, a heck of a game there.
Oh, man, it was great. It had everything. I mean, postseason games are won in the margins. We saw them today with a total package. We had great defense. We had great starting pitching. We had the big swing off the best closer in baseball we mentioned, and it was a great game to watch.
Here's my thing about this, and you know this guy in Carpenter, he came in the 7th inning. You've been in that dugout in Cleveland. There's no batting cages. There's nothing for you to get ready in. There's no space to even sprint. It's that old school mentality where, hey, this is what I've got, and whatever I've got is probably better than what you've got. Mm-hmm. And clearly it showed. I mean, they threw him those sliders. I don't know what they were thinking throwing him those sliders because, man, it just sped him up completely.
The pitching was so good all day. You felt like in this game it was going to be one swing of the bat was going to be ball game, and Kerry Carpenter put together an incredible bat against Clase to win it.
Let's go through it pitch by pitch as Kerry Carpenter has the moment that every kid dreams of. We go through it pitch by pitch. And, Matt, this is a guy, Clase, of course, is a great cutter, but you notice as he went to that slider quite a bit after.
He certainly did. I mean, listen, you know, Clase's best pitch is that cutter. There's no doubt about it. It's a power cutter. He runs it up there up to 100 miles an hour. It's a nasty at-bat for a left-hander. And he kind of fell in love with the slider late. He got away with one earlier in the at-bat that he spun in the middle, and, you know, Kerry was right on it, and then that one ended up being the big one that hurt him there at the end.
My thing is, you know, you've got him here throwing that cutter middle in, top of the zone to left-handers. You're blowing everybody up all season long. You've been blowing everybody up. Case, why start backdoor cutters on a lefty that, you know, at this point, his hole is that top of the zone where you can get him.
Yeah, I was saying, too, you're exactly with the cutters, you know, usually you want to pound that ball in, but for you guys, you know the deal when you're in the big leagues and someone triples up on you. Yeah. One slider, all right. 2 sliders, okay, even a guy like Clase, you throw me 3 sliders as a big league hitter, and you hang one, that's exactly what happens, usually happens to that.
I just got to touch it.
That's it.
I just think, you know, Mariano, like, does Mariano get off his cutter in his career in a big moment like this in the postseason? Does Kenley Jansen get off his cutter when that's your best pitch? You're probably you're gonna have 400 saves at some point in your career. For me, like, that's Clase. Your cutter is your go-to. It's that nasty. Why mess around with it and throw something different?
No question. I mean, the other thing about this is the bat playing. I mean, we're looking at, as a left-handed hitter with this cutter, I'm trying to get my head out on this thing because it's powerful, it's cutting hard, and it's moving into my barrel. By slowing me down with that slider, you give me a chance. And by that chance, it ended up hurting me.
Yeah, if you look at that swing, too, when you watch that swing in slow motion, when you see his barrel, Carp, you nailed it. He's on plane right here. He's a little out front, and he ends up hitting this ball 110 miles an hour, the hardest ball hit off Clase all year, all because he was on plane with his bat.
It was amazing how he slowed it down, though. I mean, we're looking here at you know, everything that happened, the home run breakdown, and, you know, everything how far he hit it and the hang time on it all, but the way he was able to slow it down. Yeah. And we're going to talk about what slowing it down in the postseason is later on. But, man, it was just a beauty to watch this whole at-bat take place where that first pitch, you can see he was jumping, and then all of a sudden then he started getting smaller and softer, and it felt like there was an egg underneath that right foot because the way he landed, it's like he knew that slider was coming.
Yeah, and Carp even said it when we were watching it live. He said, oh, man, he threw that slider. And it looked like Kerry Carpenter was on it.
All over.
And he threw him another one, and it turns out he was on it.
And talking about a guy getting all of a pitch, 110.8 exit velo, that's the hardest hit ball ever off Emmanuel Clase. Yeah. Like, it's crazy thing about Case. That's the thing about baseball. It can be such an isolating game. Clase, without question, is a brilliant closer, but you falter a moment like that costs you a game.
Well, we're talking about a guy that is in the Cy Young conversation.
Yeah.
Under a 1 ERA. This guy has almost been unhittable this season. So when you look at what Carey Carpenter did against one of the best pitchers in the game, it's even more impressive.
Yeah, I don't think you underestimate how great that was. Meantime, Tarek Skubal Yonder got the call for the Tigers, and of course he was brilliant again.
Yeah, I thought he was fantastic. And look, it's crazy to say, but he had 3 hits and 2 of them were left-handers. But I saw a hole in that Guardians offense. They're a different team with all right-handers in that roster, in that lineup. I mean, Skubal really went after them. They attacked. His changeup was filthy. He had 7 whiffs on it. I really like the ground balls when he needed them. He needed those big double plays, especially late in the game, and he got it. And look, you've got to be able to win on the road. If you want to get to the World Series, you got to win on the road. Right now, all these series in the postseason, they're all tied 1-1. Yeah. They can win on the road as much as they can win at home.
And Matt, what makes Skubal so special? We know he's had an electric season, but what is it about him when you look at his arsenal?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I'll just start with this. I mean, this was a must-win game for the Detroit Tigers, and they needed Skubal to go out there and do what he's done all year, and that's be dominant, and he did it. And to me, I think that's a testament of the kind of guy he is. He's done it twice now on the road, once in Houston. He goes into Houston versus a great team who's been to 7 straight ALCSs, goes in there and shuts them down, comes on the road here in Cleveland, does it again. And, you know, that's easier said than done. We all played in the postseason. We know how that environment can be, especially on the road. For him to go in there, settle in, make the pitches, be able to execute like he did today, really impressive.
Skubal's special and continues what's been just a sensational season and a postseason. His numbers overall, 92 pitches, 65 for strikes, 17 first pitch strikes, the 23 guys he faced, 8 strikeouts, 0 walks, and he's averaging 96.8 on that 4-seam fastball.